Hi, welcome to Be Free Yoga. I'm Inger, and these are my helpers, Ananda and Rosie, who came off her cushion today, special appearance. And this is the 5th installment of our yoga pose tutorials. This is the last one. We've already covered the opening of the yoga class, the Sun A and the Sun B. We did balancing last time, and now we move on to the floor work at the end of class. Our bodies are nice and warm and ready to stretch. We have worked out a lot of our nervous energy, and we are ready to find stillness on our mat. Slow down. You'll need a mat, 2 blocks, a strap. You may want a blanket rolled up, and you could have a mirror to check your alignment as we explore some poses on the floor. So we're going to start today in supported fish. Grab your blocks and come down to lay on your back with your blocks in a T, one under your head like a pillow. Watch out, Rose. And another one between your shoulder blades. Rest your arms at your sides and let your feet fall open. Make sure that your lower block is not down by your lower back. You want it up high so that you're opening from your thoracic spine, not tweaking your lumbar spine. With each exhale, let your body melt around the edges of your block. Take a full deep inhale through your nose and sigh it out, open mouth exhale. Again, a full breath in. Let each breath bring you more present. One more inhale. And then seal your lips and find your natural breath in and out through your nose. Today's class theme is Less is More. It's inspired by a Japanese rice farmer named Masanobu Fukuoka, who wrote One Straw Revolution. His idea is that we should work with rather than against nature. We should do as little as possible and let nature take care of the rest. So often in our modern world, we measure our value by our productivity. So today we turn that on its head and explore this idea that sometimes less is more. Take one more full deep inhale. And as you exhale, roll onto your side into fetal pose and remove your blocks from underneath you. Curl up around your spine. Nice counter stretch to the heart opening of supported fish. Take a full inhale. And then exhale, roll onto your back. Center yourself on your mat. Reach down for the backs of your thighs. Take a few rock and rolls as you make your way up. And then come into tabletop. Wrists under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Spread your fingers wide. And start with some barrel rolls. Jump rope your spine. Really involve your whole body here. And then in the other direction. Come back to center. Take some lateral bends. Look to the right as you draw your right shoulder and hip together. And then to the left, squeeze your left side body as you lengthen your right side body. And come back to center for a lat stretch. Come down onto your left forearm and reach your right arm across diagonally. Lean into your right side body, your right shoulder, and feel a deep lat stretch. One more inhale. Exhale, release. Come onto your right forearm. Send your left arm across diagonally. Press into the outside edge of your hand. Lean into your left shoulder. One more inhale. Exhale, release. Come up through tabletop. Tuck your toes and exhale into down dog. First downward dog of the day. So bend your knees, flatten your spine, press your hands down and forward to lift your hips up and back. And then pedal out your legs. Biceps by your ears. Inhale, look to the top of your mat. And exhale, take tiny steps forward for ragdoll. Let's do an infinity grip today. Reach your arms to the back of the room, then bring them forward between your legs and rest opposite palms on opposite shins. Option to straighten your legs a tiny bit to pull yourself deeper into your fold, round your spine, relax your head and neck. One more inhale. Exhale, release your hands. Toe heel your feet together. And then roll up slowly with soft knees and a heavy head. Unfurl your spine one vertebra at a time. Your head and neck the last thing to arrive. Then roll your shoulders up and back. And bring your hands to your heart and close your eyes. Samastitihi. Today, embrace this opportunity that our floor work is offering us to explore less is more. Notice how small movements can create big effects. And really relax into the postures and let gravity to do the work. Take a full breath in. Open mouth, exhale, release your hands, open your eyes. We're going to go through a couple of rounds of Sun A so that all you people out there can be warm for the stretching. Nothing fancy. Inhale, mountain, sweep your arms high, palms face each other. Activate your quads, lift your knees, draw your belly in, grow 1 inch taller. Exhale, back bend cactus, arms, elbows at shoulder height. Bump up your heart as you look to the sky. Keep your glutes and belly engaged. Inhale, back through mountain. And exhale, side bend lightly, clasp your left wrist, grow taller, and then bend, willow your arms to the right. Stack your top shoulder over your lower shoulder and let your hips move to the left. Look up past your armpit. Inhale through center. Switch your grip, lengthen, and exhale. Willow your arms to the left. Look up past your right arm. Inhale through center. Release your grip. Exhale, forward fold. Hinge at your hips. Hands through heart center. Slow transition. Inhale, halfway lift. Create a number 7 with your body. Tweeze your shoulder blades together. Lengthen the back of your neck. Exhale, chaturanga, plant your hands. Take the option that works for you. Maybe you're on your knees, grasshopper your elbows back. Inhale, up dog, float your thighs off the floor. Exhale, down dog, lead with your hips. Full breath in. Open mouth, exhale. Inhale, look to the top of your mat. Exhale, step or hop to the front, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain, press down to rise up. Exhale, open twist to the right. Keep your hips facing forward as you reach your arms forward and back. Roll your right shoulder down your back, hands at shoulder height. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, open twist to the left. Keep your left hip forward. Roll your left shoulder down your back. Look to the back of the room to bring the twist into your cervical spine. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, forward fold with a flat spine. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, chaturanga of your choice. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. I'm trying to model some variations for you. You can always refer back to our second tutorial for how to do a chaturanga in a variety of ways. Full breath in and full breath out. Inhale, hinge forward to high plank. And then exhale, grasshopper your elbows back as you slowly lower down onto your mat. Option to use your knees to assist you in this transition. Keep your hands framing your heart and prepare for baby cobra. Zip your legs together like you're a snake with a tail. Press into the tops of your feet so that your knees lift off the floor and your legs are active. Then, with as little to no weight in your hands on the inhale, lift your chest and chin for baby cobra. Keep your legs active, glued together. This is a very safe back bend because we're using the strength of our activated back body. One more inhale and exhale, release. Bring your left cheek to the mat. Send your arms to the back of the room. Nice passive neck stretch. Take a full inhale and a full exhale. Then bring your chin back to center. Frame your heart with your hands for extended cobra. Make your cobra tail again, zipping your legs together, press into the tops of your feet. Activate your glutes, and then press your pubic bone down into the floor to keep your lower back safe. Send your elbows to the back of the room. Inhale, press into your hands and straighten your arms as much as is comfortable in your body. Roll your shoulders down your back and reach your heart forward as you look to the front of the room. Again, Ananda's keeping her lower back safe with it, drawing her belly button in and up and her nice active legs and pressing her pubic bone down. Full breath in. Exhale, slowly lower back down. Bring your right cheek to the mat and extend your arms to the back of the room. Relax. Let your heels fall out. Take a big inhale and a big exhale. Anytime we do that extended cobra, you have the option to just do another baby cobra. On your next inhale, bring your chin back to center and come into Sphinx. Come onto your forearms, elbows stacked under your shoulders, number 11 in your arms. Traction your elbows back towards your body as you reach your heart through the gate of your arms. Press your forearms into the floor to create distance between your ears and your shoulders, lengthening your neck. Look to the front of the room. Take a full breath in and exhale, release, slowly lower down and prepare for locust pose. Bring your forehead to the mat and send your arms and legs to the back of the room. Your feet are hip width distance apart. On the inhale, float everything off the floor and roll onto the soft part of your belly. Activate your back body, fire up your glutes. Keep your arms super active. Option to take a bind, interlacing your hands behind your back. Press your palms together. Nice heart opener there. Notice how active Ananda is all the way to the tips of her toes. Big breath in and exhale, release. A nice option for this, which Ananda will demonstrate now if locust feels like too much for you, is to spider your hands on either side of your chest and simply lift one leg at a time as you lift your chest. You can lift one for a while and then the other. You have your hands to support you, but you still really want to fire up your back body so you can start to feel that engagement. Beautiful. And release. Next, we're going to go into floor bow. These are all obviously things that work our back body, which is a part of our core and equally important to the front of our body. Floor bow can be challenging if you have trouble reaching your feet, or if it doesn't feel right for you, you can do another round of the locust that we just did, any of the versions. If you want to try floor bow, bend your legs and capture the outside edges of your feet with your hands. Just like a dancer, this posture is fueled by kicking into your hands. So on the next inhale, kick into your hands, float everything off the floor, and again, roll onto the soft part of your belly. A modification initially for beginners is to open their knees wider, and then to make it more advanced, you may close your knees together. So you choose what's right for you in that regard. Don't you love it when teachers come along and do this assistance? You're picturing a teardrop shape, and just like dancer, the more you kick into the hands, the more lift you can get in your chest. Take one more inhale here, and exhale, release. Another modification for this is half bow, which Ananda is going to demonstrate, where you could just reach back and capture one foot and kick into it. Notice she's supporting herself with her other hand. And then you could switch sides. You could theoretically use straps here as well, but it is pretty challenging to get a strap on your foot in the middle of a class in this position, laying on your belly. So locust is a great modification for floor bow. All right, I think that's the most of the on belly work we're going to do today. So let's come up through tabletop and then stand on our shins. Some camel time. Knees. She's making fun of me in her head like, my mom's a dork. I can tell that laugh. Knees hip width distance apart. First, we're just going to sort of play with the type of leg activation one needs for camel by reaching our arms high, pressing into the tops of our feet to activate our glutes and hamstrings, and then on the exhale, just lean back. Woo, fire up those quads, then come back up. And then lean back. We're going to do this 3 times, just really feeling our legs start to warm up. And one more time. And come up. Beautiful. Now bring your hands down onto your lower back. Fingers pointing down. Draw your elbows behind you so that they would disappear behind your back. Press your hips forward as you start to gaze up the wall and onto the ceiling. Engage your glutes in your belly to protect your lower back. Roll your shoulders down your back and look up. This is great camel right here. Keep pressing into the tops of your feet. If you want to go further, maybe you tuck your toes. And then if you feel comfortable, you can reach one hand back to your heel and then the other hand back to your heel. At this point, you can really send your hips forward, spread through your sternum and lift your heart space, looking up. If this feels comfortable to you, maybe you want to untuck your toes. It'll be a deeper stretch, and you can still reach down to your heels. Remember to keep sending your hips forward and lifting through your heart. Last time, didn't you say sometimes you even put your hands on the floor? I don't ever do that. Heels is as far as I go, but I guess you could find new and creative ways to bend deeper if you wanted. And then when you're ready to come up the same way you went in, one hand at a time, slowly unfurling your spine. Ananda, do you want to demo doing that against the wall? A great way to know if you're sending your hips forward enough is to come facing the wall. And then you can really feel pressing your hips forward into the wall as you practice your camel. Gorgeous. All right, you did it. And then come back to the center of your mat and come into Thunderbolt. Bring your knees together. Sit on your heels. Rest your hands on your thighs and close your eyes. Camel is such a big heart opener. It really gets your heart pumping. So it's nice to take a moment to reset. I will read you a quote by Masanobu Fukuoka. There is no one so great as the one who does not try to accomplish anything. That's so hard for me to do. I bet a lot of you are over achievers. I can't even watch a movie without doing something else at the same time. But how valuable is it to sit still? Take one more breath here. Exhale, let's come back into tabletop. Tuck your toes and exhale into down dog. Now we're gonna separate our feet a bit as wide as your mat and walk your hands back for a frog squat. Sorry, Rosie, did I get in your way? My other child. In frog squat, your feet are wide, your hips are low, but you don't want to just collapse down into your hips, sinking them to the floor. You want to keep your pelvic floor engaged, pressing into your feet to keep your legs active. Well, you may not want to, but it's important. Good posture. Your elbows can press your knees apart. Hands are at your heart. Lower your shoulders and lengthen your neck. Beautiful. I think in other cultures, people squat a lot more, and this is easy for them, but it's super hard for me. And an option to sit on some blocks. That is a great modification on any day you need a little extra support, or if you're just working on the hip opening necessary for this posture. You can pile up a couple of blocks, whatever works for you. Big breath in. And exhale, we're gonna walk forward into supine frog. So for supine frog, you want right angles in your knees, frog legs, so to speak. Come down onto your forearms and let gravity sink your hips lower. If this is painful on your knees, some people go sideways on their mat to have a little extra cushioning, or they place a blanket under their knees. You can find out what's right for you. It's a fun exploration to maybe send your hips forward a little bit, send your hips back a little bit. Proper form is to have your hips right in line with your knees, and I feel like when you find that sweet spot, it'll be this area of like maximum stretch. And that may be different for you on different days, so really feel into it. If you're like Ananda, maybe you can lay all the way down. If you're like me, maybe you use some blocks for a pillow as you rest into this posture. It's great to hang out here for a little while, really send your breath into the areas that feel tight. One more breath in. And exhale, we're gonna meet in down dog. There's not necessarily a graceful way to come out of supine frog, so work your way out in a way that feels safe to you. And exhale into down dog. Full breath in, full breath out. Inhale, send your right leg high. Nice level hips, dial your pinky toe down, press equally into both hands, big breath in. Exhale, half pigeon. Send your right knee behind your right wrist. Stay upright for a minute while we get situated. The goal is to eventually have your right shin parallel with the front of the mat. This does not happen for many people. If miraculously yours is parallel, you can flex your foot, but if not, keep it pointed to protect your knee. Look back over your right shoulder. This helps even out your hips. You can also check in with your back toes to make sure they're pointed to the back of the room. Then look back to the front. If you'd like some extra support, it can be nice to take a block and stick it underneath your right hip or a blanket. See what's right for you. And then exhale, you can lower down into sleeping pigeon, come down onto your forearms. Maybe you rest your forehead on the earth or on a block. I like to engage my pelvic floor, draw my thighs together. That really levels out your hips. And then try and cement your hips in space there as you exhale and sink them lower. Some modifications for half pigeon. One is to let your hips fall to the right so you can rest on your hip and bend both your legs. Then try and square your shoulders with your mat. You're still getting that nice opening. but it's a little more supported. I already showed you can thread a block underneath your hip for some added support. And if none of these things feel good to you, a great option is to come into supine figure 4. Laying on your back, cross one shin over your thigh. You get the same nice hip opening as half pigeon, but in a more accessible way. Great. All right. Let your hips fall to the side. Rise up. And then swing your left leg around for fire log pose. Ananda's going to face the front for this. She'll be the opposite of you because we're all working on the same side. Parallel your right leg with the top of the mat and then stack your left leg on top like it's a fire log. I think people vary widely in their ability to do this. Even someone super flexible like Ananda might have trouble in this pose. But there's lots of things you can do to support yourself. First of all, keep in mind that you want to flex both your feet and you don't want to allow this top ankle to collapse down. By flexing your feet, you protect your knees and ankles. A lot of times you'll see people where their legs aren't exactly stacked. So try and really stack them like fire logs. You could slip a block under here to give you a little support. And then one of my favorite modifications is to put a block in front of your knee so that you can take that top foot and rest it all the way on the block. That makes this pose a lot more accessible for people. So whatever option you want to do today, Ananda, is totally fine. Sometimes people like to do a little forward fold because as you fold forward, you'll just feel your knees open wider. On your next inhale, if you folded forward, rise back up, and we'll demo half Lord of the Fishes. Plant that top foot outside your right thigh, and then twist to the left. Bring your right elbow outside your left thigh, and look back over your shoulder. The important thing to keep in mind in half Lord of the Fishes is to have a long upright spine on each inhale and then twist deeper on the exhale. Also, you can take some of the weight out of your back hand to bring the structure into your spine. Also, make sure you have equal weight in both sits bones to keep you centered, and roll your back shoulder down your back. Again, when you look to the back of the room, you're bringing this twist into your cervical spine, and just imagine you're wringing out your internal organs, detoxing your body as you let go of all your tensions and worries. Big breath in, and exhale, release. Nice. What's next? Cow face pose. Woo-hoo. Stay there. Now I'll face this way. Now we come into cow face pose. Our right leg is still on the bottom, left leg on top. It's like fire log, except we cross our legs more. You want to try and stack your top knee over your bottom knee. Heels by your hips. A great modification for this is to sit on a block. If you sit on a block on any setting, you'll be more likely to be able to stack your knees in this way. If your strap is nearby, we can also bring it into our arms. Hold the strap in your right hand and reach it high. Then exhale, bend your elbow, bringing your hand behind your neck. Reach your left arm around to the back and capture the other edge of your strap. You have one elbow reaching high and the other elbow reaching low. So much going on now. Stay connected to your breath. Lift your chin and chest. Maybe work your hands closer towards each other on the strap. And big breath in and release. You may feel uneven, but we'll even out in a minute on the floor. Don't worry. If you're on a block, remove it. Uncross your legs. What happens next? Oh, staff pose. Face the top of your mat, legs long. We're going to lower down. It's first important to really glue the backs of your legs to keep you steady onto the floor. Flex your feet, reach your arms forward, and slowly lower down onto your back. We're going to start with bridge pose. Plant your feet flat on the floor, hip width distance apart. Think of magnetizing your thighs together. You don't want them to touch, but you want to keep that energy of drawing them together, hands by your sides. On the inhale, tuck your tailbone, start lifting your hips and raise one vertebra at a time off the floor. If you're working on getting more flexible, traction your heels away from you. You'll feel your hips lift more, and then you can send that lift into your chest, lifting through your heart space. If you're already really flexible, you may want to traction your heels towards you to fire up your glutes and hamstrings, create more stability in your body to protect you. Find the option that works for you. Option to take a bind, interlacing your hands underneath your back and stretching your arms to the front of the room. You want your chest to reach towards your chin as your chin moves away from your chest. Beautiful. Let's traction our heels forward, lift your hips, lift your heart, big breath in, and then exhale, release your grip. Slowly lower one vertebra at a time, your hips the last thing to arrive. Take your feet wide for broken bridge, knock your knees in, and windshield wipe your legs from side to side to release your lower back. So great. All right. In most yoga classes, when we move on to wheel, I just do another round of bridge, which is totally acceptable, and you can do that right now. You can even do a supported bridge, which means, I'll show that real quick. When you lift your hips, you just slip a block underneath your hips, and you're supported by a block. That's a great option anytime. But if you want to give wheel a try, Ananda's going to demo it for us. Reach down and make sure that you can grab your heels with your hands. This will give you the proper stance so that you can really power yourself up. Then bring your hands either side of your head, flat on the floor, fingers pointing towards your shoulders, elbows high. Push into your feet and your hands, lift through your thighs and then your chest and come onto the top of your head. Keep pressing into your hands and feet and rest here for a couple of rounds of breath. Then when you feel ready to go further, press into your hands again, lift through your thighs, your hip, and your heart space. At this point, if you want to go deeper, you could see Ananda walk her feet forward a little bit so that as she reaches through her chest almost comes, her rib cage comes higher than her hips. Our lower back, our lumbar spine is more flexible and more prone to injury. So it's important to really focus on lifting from here and curving from this upper back. It's better to have wider arms and straight arms than narrow stance with bent arms, unless you're prone to hyperextension in your elbows, and then you want to keep a micro bend. When you're ready to come down, tuck your chin. Lower slowly down, bend your elbows, come onto the back of your head and shoulders, and then you can go ahead and lower one vertebra at a time and bring your hips down. Beautiful wheel. You did great. So that's it for wheel. Next is waterfall. Grab a block. Come back through a bridge briefly to slip the block on the low setting underneath your sacrum. Raise one leg and then the other. Flex your feet, lengthen through the back seams of your legs. Waterfall can be done with or without the block. It can also be called legs up the wall pose. You can do this near a wall. It's an inversion. It sends the blood back towards your heart space, and it's extremely beneficial for your overall health. The longer you hold it, the better. So some people just hang out like this for like 10 minutes or longer. I like to do it with the support of a block because it's very relaxing. You can stay right here, or you can join me in supported shoulder stand. Bring your elbows in by the sides of your body. Swing your hips up and capture your hips with your hands. Point your toes and send them to the sky. There's a natural chin lock here, a Jalandhara Bandha, drawing your sternum and your chin together. Sometimes you feel like your legs are pointing skyward, but they're actually coming overhead, so you can work to send them a little bit towards the front of the room. You're supporting your back with your hands. That's beautiful. You can stay right here. You can be in waterfall, or maybe you want to come into plow pose. Flex your feet, inwardly rotate your legs, and start to hinge at your hips. Your feet may float in the air here. You could bring them down onto a bench, a couch, a block. If you're feeling really comfortable there, you can bring them down onto the floor overhead. Wherever you are, I want you to fire up the front of your legs so that it lengthens the backs of your legs. You can interlock your hands like Ananda did and extend them to the opposite side of the room. And then if you're feeling really, really strong, you can untuck your toes and let your feet slide on the floor to deepen the posture. In plow pose, you want to slightly imagine releasing your chin lock, your Jalandhara Bandha, to keep your neck safe. Take one more inhale here, and then exhale into knee to ear pose. Bend your knees. You could release your bind if you want and support your hips or have your hands on the floor. Notice how your knees are kind of covering your ears right now. This is one of those dharana postures that helps you turn inward. You're in your own little bubble. And then when you're ready to come out, bring your hands to your hips and slowly help yourself lower down onto the ground. Nice. Let's see. Half wind or moving pose. Hug your right knee to your chest. Here's where we're going to do some twisting on the other side. You want to flex your feet. Draw your right knee in. Feel a constriction in your right hip. Take a full breath in. And then exhale into supine twist. Send your knee to the left as you outstretch your right arm to the right. Look over your right shoulder. Common thing I see here is that the right shoulder comes off the floor. You really want to make sure both shoulders are near the earth, even if that means that you twist a little bit less. I like to scooch my lower hip back towards the center of my mat. It helps me deepen my twist. And then think about sending your top hip away from your face, lengthening that right side body. Some days you may just want to relax into this posture. Some days you may want to really micro-tune all of these small adjustments. Stay here for one more big breath in. And then exhale, release, come back through center for happy baby. Bend your knees, lift your feet, and reach up and grab the outside edges of your feet. So the thing we want to focus on in happy baby is having our spine in contact with the floor. The spine includes the sacrum, the tailbone, all the way down there. And a lot of times when people are grabbing their feet, they can't actually get their tailbone all the way to the floor. If that's the case with you, you may want to grab your shins, allowing you to flatten your spine more fully. You could even grab the back of your thighs if that works better in your body. Nice. So find the level that's right for you. Then you can use your elbows to open your knees more. Really explore this posture. Move around. You can kick into one foot, then into the other. You could rock side to side. It's blissful baby, Ananda Balasana. Oh, it's your namesake. So Really just try and feel that like childhood bliss that you had when you were exploring your body and doing what felt good when life was simple. Life is still simple, even though we imagine it's complicated. All right, release your feet for full wind removing pose. Curl up into a tiny ball. Wrap your arms around your legs and bring your forehead to your knees. Take a full inhale and then exhale into Shavasana. Send your legs long. Wrap your shoulder blades underneath you to create a shelf for your heart and open your shoulders. Palms up to bring in energy and to help you with that opening in your shoulders. But you can also choose palms down for grounding. Relax any tension in your hips, let them fall open. Relax the muscles in your face and jaw. Let the surrender be sweet as you melt into the earth beneath you. Shavasana, as we've discussed before, is the peak posture of our yoga class. It's when we finally get really, really still and present in the moment. I'll close with a quote by Lin Yutang. Besides the noble art of getting things done, there is the noble art of leaving things undone. The wisdom of life consists in the elimination of non-essentials. So rest here in stillness for a few moments. If you find your mind starts to return to what you have to do when you get off the mat, just gently call it back to your breath. Before you attempt any movement, start to deepen and lengthen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Circle out your ankles and your wrists. Let your head fall to one side and then to the other. Take a long good morning stretch. Point your toes, reach your arms overhead. Soften your belly and arch your back. Big breath in. And exhale into fetal pose on your favorite side, using your bicep as a pillow. Cozy in. The transition from corpse's pose to fetal pose is one of death and rebirth, reminding us that we can choose to be reborn in any moment. So take this chance to set an intention to be reborn into your week. You can set an intention of your own, or maybe you want to explore this idea of less is more. Anytime you start to measure your value by productivity, remember that you are valuable just because you are you. Maybe when you're rushing around, try and carve out some moments for stillness. Call out the non-essentials and come back to what's really important in your life. On your next inhale, press into your top hand and with as little movement as possible, come up to an easy seat on your mat. Bring your hands to third eye center. Feel the grounding through your hips into the earth. And feel your connection with the heavens through the crown of your head. The light, the love, the teacher, the student, and the hot mess in me recognizes and adores the light, the love, the teacher, the student, and the hot mess in each of you. Bow forward and seal our practice with a namaste. Namaste. Woohoo! The last yoga pose tutorial. That's exciting. I hope these 5 classes really gave you some good ideas about ways that you can make yoga your own, make it work for your unique body, and really find acceptance with where you're at today. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me through the website or email or Instagram or Facebook, but it's been great working with you, and I hope to see you around at Be Free Yoga.